What's going on, people? It's your man, the White B. Once again, big shout out to my dog, Alistair Liscott, for coming through and boosting up the coin. So, we got some breaking news, leaked news for the great and washed masses right now regarding Ben Whittaker. Yeah, we got the leaked weigh-in. Ain't no one seen before. Whoa, I can't really play the footage. You can watch it, who really cares? He made weight, they both made weight. Whittaker and this plumber here, they successfully made weight. And I have to be honest, I think, listen, we'll find out what happens in the fight, but there should be, here we go. His muscle does look a bit mature, but then look at Parker. We all started saying, oh, Andy Lee's got Parker punching hard. Parker can't punch. So I think the Bacoli fight with Parker was a fluke, and potentially Whittaker's younger. He can't punch though. I don't think we've seen him in there. Okay, his team was no good, but we've seen him in there. He came into that Cameron 2 fight with quite a lot of ferocity, but I think there's shades there of Yard and Lyndon Arthur too. That makes sense. These men, particularly the half-breeds who have genealogical issues because of the mutation, or the what they call it, the muttness of it. They're not pedigree, man. It can't be. It's impossible. Pedigree, they're mutts, right? We're mutts. Myself included. We're mutts, man. Right? When you have a mutt. Yeah, mutts. It's not pedigree. It's not pure blood. It's just not. It can't be. Yeah, and when you mix the species of the Caucasoid and the Mandinga, it causes genetic defects. My point is, Whittaker got really excited for the Cameron fight, and he turned up and he was throwing his hands with bad intention, but there's a chance he slips back into doing what he always does. We saw it in Cameron 1, we saw it in all of his other fights. Yeah, so whilst I say his muscle looks more dense, and muscle don't mean nothing anyway. But is he punching harder, is he not? We'll find out when this fight starts. Let's not forget as well, that Cameron stoppage, the right hand was good. I think he dipped and binged the right hand. That knocked Cameron down, but the rest, he was just thrashing left and right, and he didn't. Cameron stayed on his feet. He was buzzed from that clean right hand. Is there an element of a lucky punch there? There definitely wasn't anything surgical about it. There wasn't nothing surgical. That right hand was surgical and or lucky. What happened after wasn't surgical. It was a man in there thrashing. And I said at the time, who knows what state Whittaker would have been in after letting his hands go like that. Hamza Shiraz, he's clinical with it. He'll still let his hands go, but it's a lot more. It's more to it. He doesn't. Whittaker looked rushed to me, not as seasoned as Hamza, or as clinical as Hamza. So there's still question marks about that Cameron 2 situation. And from what I've seen here from Gavazani, I've got some clips here. This is the last fight Gavazani had, I believe. So you can see in this video, Whittaker's opponent is in the red gloves. I'll play the footage. So I think Gavazani, you can see it here, he's a bit of a Liam Cameron. I think there's shades of Liam Cameron here in terms of his style. Hands wrapped around his head. Little moody pullback there. He's alright though. He's not. I don't see glaring holes in Gavazani. So if you can't, look, his hands wrapped around his head. If you can't punch, he's not leaky deaky deaky deaky. He's got a nice little high guard there. The power is there, the pullbacks. You see that? He's not a proper idiot. His feet are slow. His hands aren't the quickest. But look, he's tight. He's tight. He's tight. Whittaker will box. No, listen, I'm not saying Gavazani is going to win. Whittaker should box him after death. The question is whether he stops him. And since we know we like to gamble on this channel, look at the high guard, look. He does get, I mean, yeah, look, he looks solid to me. I don't see no glaring holes there from Gavazani. So, like I said, given we like to, I mean, he's a bit leakier than Liam Cameron actually, but listen. The point is, like I said, since we like to gamble here, we have to find where the value is. And I think I always have a bias towards fights not being a stoppage. But Whittaker and this guy to go to points is 3-1. I'm not betting on Whittaker knocking him out. Again, it's a bit like the Fraser Clark and TKV fight this weekend. I can see how Fraser Clark stops him, but not at the odds they've got it at. Yeah, I'm not betting 1-3 on Fraser Clark knocking this guy out. That's what it is. So for both of these fights, it's around 3-1 for Fraser Clark and TKV to go points, and Whittaker and this German plumber. Because I've seen, never mind this dude, I think Gavazani is more dynamic and more put together than, for example, Ezra. Yeah, Whittaker didn't knock down Ezra Akinwande. Yeah, and this guy Leon Willings went points. So outside of the Liam Cameron fights, Ben Whittaker had 2 points wins over complete plumbers. Now this Benjamin Gavazani is essentially undefeated. He lost his first fight, his debut on points. He's essentially undefeated. His resume don't mean nothing, but from what I see in the footage, he's not a proper idiot. So the chance that Whittaker has reverted back to what he's always done, i.e., he's got great shoe shine shots, he can box, he's very quick. The power though, if he doesn't want to put his foot down, this fight could go to points. And that's for me where the value is. For example, let's have a quick look. Whittaker by KO, yeah, it's 1-3. So you put £3 down, you'll win one back. I don't get that. I'm not betting. The favourite outcome here is for Whittaker to knock him out. Sorry, I'm not doing that. I'm taking the points here. Not that you're not likely to lose. I'd put it about 1-1 myself. I think there's an even chance either way. I can see Whittaker stopping him if he gets tired and if Whittaker turns up. If he don't, like the other two plumbers, how many cats has he really knocked out? Cameron whooped his ass the first time. Okay, there's again the second time with Cameron. You caught him and then he slapped away and he's got stopped on his feet. Alright then. And that's possible in this fight. Gavazani's way too slow. It's possible Whittaker slaps him and he's on skates, and fair play for that, but not with my money. I'm not putting that on at 1-3, personally speaking. But what do I know? Not a lot. So I'll get to the Moody. Let's watch a bit more of this actually. Watch a bit more of this. Yeah, he's a bit like Liam Cameron, but he throws his hands though. That might open him up to Whittaker. I think he'll be more cautious of Whittaker though. To be fair, he's not going to want to throw his hands. But that's what I'm saying. It's hard to stop. That's what happens with Whittaker. Whittaker has good speed, good feet. So what it tends to do is, no one can deny this guy's got some defense, Gavazani. He don't have the best feet, but he's got some decent hands on your head defense. What that does is, you can see him here, he's having a bit of a scrap with this guy. Why? He's right in front of him. This is a bit like Brian Norman. If you stand right in front of Brian Norman, he'll look great and throw his hands and be really active and whatever else. We saw it the weekend. When someone can box and they've got elite athleticism, like Devin Haney or Whittaker, what people tend to do is stick their hands on the head. Now, an experienced boxer who can stick their hands on the head, very hard to stop. Difficult to stop them. Right? And that's what I see here with Gavazani. I think the speed and the movement, his movement of Whittaker will put Gavazani in his box. Hopefully he don't. It depends how he turns up though. Some man, he might turn up like the Third Reich and want to throw his hands and he'll get knocked out. If Gavazani comes to lay it on the line, he's getting knocked out for sure. If he don't know, like most people don't, and he just thinks, like Brian Norman he didn't want to squabble, he'll just stick his hands on his head and it'll be a heavy bag session, like the Ezra guy. Whittaker was more or less having a heavy bag session. In my opinion, punchers, can you train punchers like that? I tend to think not. Yeah? Whittaker's 28-year-old. If he couldn't punch then, has Andy Lee shown him how to punch? Possibly. Not my base case though. Not my base case, unfortunately. So, I've got him, Whittaker, butchering this guy on point, just slapping him after, like he always does, just touching him after death. I think will happen. That said, in terms of the gambling, which we'll get to now I've done my prediction, Whittaker should really win every round. It's a shame you can't bet on that. I'd bet on that. I'd bet Whittaker winning every round. They should start doing offering odds on that. Might be some good value there. Anyway, here's the situation we got. I've built this ACCA here, and I've got the best part of 50 quid on, and it pays back 40 profit. 50 on, it pays back 40 profit. Check this one out right here. Fraser Clark to win. Ben Whittaker to land the most body punches. Now I looked into Whittaker versus Cameron 1, and despite Whittaker getting punched up here, Whittaker outlanded to the body on Cameron at around 1.5. So he landed 50% more body shots than Liam Cameron did. So when I look at this Gavazani guy, I don't see why Whittaker won't land more body punches. And that's really, we talked about this the other day, guaranteed cert. Whittaker to land the most body punches at 1.44 decimal, so a 44% return. That's all day and night. And I've put the rest of these mat on here just to bulk it up. It bulks it up to around, I think, 1.8 decimal in the end. So I've got Whittaker to land the most punches, that's the meaty one. And then Fraser Clark to win, Hughie Fury to win, and Jack Massey to win. They're like 20-1 favourites. No, fucking hell. If one of them loses, there's going to be a murder on Sunday, allegedly. That's what there's going to be. But that's the guaranteed cert here, man. We've got 50 large on the line to win 40 there. So that's one Ben Whittaker play that's built in. Ben Whittaker could lose and still land the most body punches, and you're up. So that's the guaranteed cert for the masses. I talked about this in my other video. I've got Fraser Clark by unanimous decision at 6.5 to 1. You put 10 down, you win 65, large profit. And then I got another 5 on at 4 to 1 for Fraser Clark to win by decision. That pays 20 profit. Back to Ben Whittaker. I've combined Whittaker. This might be a little coup, to be fair. I've combined Whittaker and Gavazani to go the distance, and Fraser Clark and Jamie TKV to go the distance. And that is 11.5 to 1. So all I put is a 5 down. If them two fights are stinkers, it turns it into £55 profit. It's worth a punt, right? Again, if you'd done that for the, I don't know, what's it called? If you'd done that for the rest of the bums, Ben Whittaker thought you'd be sweet. If you'd done it for Fraser Clark, and I think TKV's better than Marius Whack. You couldn't stop Whack. And obviously boxing triangles don't work, but at 12 to 1 it's worth a punt. At 12 to 1, to say no, you'd have to say I'd be very shocked if both fights went to points. I think there's an even chance of both of them fights going to points. I'm 1 to 1 on both fights going points. Seriously. That's where I am. I think there's a 50% chance Whittaker goes points, and I think there's a 50% chance Fraser Clark goes points. So at 12 to 1, I'm taking that all day and night. That's what I'm doing, man. That's ridiculous, in my opinion. But it's one of them ones, isn't it? I think the odds there are tasty. I've also got another ACCA. I've put 20 large down at the best part of, 3.5 to 1 here. Yeah. So £20 on will pay back 65 profit, and these are the plays. Jack Massey to win, Hughie Fury to win, Ben Whittaker to win, and then Fraser Clark and Jamie TKV to go points. That pays you 3.5 to 1. I didn't put Ben Whittaker and Gavazani to go points. I think Ben Whittaker's got a better chance. Gavazani is less experienced than TKV, for example. So I think there's more chance Whittaker stops Gavazani than there is Fraser Clark stopping TKV. Fraser Clark gets goosed after 6 rounds. He gets goosed after 6 rounds. And Fraser Clark can't punch either like that. Even though he's a heavyweight, he can't punch like that at all. TKV can't punch like that either. I think Ben Whittaker's youth, he's very twitchy. Fraser Clark isn't twitchy. He's got a good jab, good fundamentals, but he's not. You don't look at him and say anything special. Ben Whittaker, he does have elite athleticism. He does. His footwork's elite as well. So I can see how he could end up, if he's been training with Andy Lee, that confidence from Liam Cameron fight's got him gassed. I can see how he touches up Gavazani and breaks him down. But then again, it's only a 10-round fight, whereas Clark and TKV's a 12-round fight. Maybe I'll make another ACCA and take out Fraser Clark and TKV on points. Do another one, but include... No, I've already got that there. It's just being greedy now. It's being silly, really. It's being silly. I think I'll leave that there, to be fair. How does Fraser Clark stop TKV, really? TKV's not an idiot. He's never been stopped, really. Adelaide doesn't count. Why? It was a sucker punch, essentially. It was a free shot. Anyone can get knocked out from a free shot. The other stoppage, TKV's been stopped twice. Adelaide, we can discount it. The other guy, he fought some plumber and got stopped. It was a cut. He got hit on his eye, stood on his feet, didn't get put down, but got cut. And he was taking some big shots in that fight, but didn't go down. And I think Fraser Clark can't punch, to be fair. He can't. And his bones are soft. You might hit him, right? If you hit Fraser Clark, you might hit him. And his bone goes funny. He might get a bit nervous about throwing back. Fraser Clark, yeah, all he's done is bowl over Tete with nothing coming back. If something's coming back, he might think twice if he gets bopped on his eye. Oh, or he might have a stroke. You just don't know. It could be either or, right? Fucking hell. You might just have a stroke on your ass, so you can't trust him to do nothing, can you? So I like that one there. That's a nice little coup there. And obviously, if there's a bunch of stoppages, with that's the only thing, though, isn't it? If there is a stoppage, there's quite a lot of value at risk here when you think about it. If there is a stoppage, this one loses. No, it doesn't. No, that's a lie. This one's sweet. If there is a stoppage, we lose 15 here. We lose 5 there's 20. There's 20, there's 40. It's only 40 quid. It's not the end of the world, is it? Yeah, it's not. That's about. I think that's a fair day's work there. And if they land, we're up bigly. If they land, that's what you got to think about, man. You don't think about the risk. It's about the upside here. Imagine if they land. Yeah. And TKV and Fraser Clark, they've got some bad blood going on. So TKV's not going to want to punk out and get stopped. Not necessarily anyone wants to get stopped, but he can box a bit. He knows how to clinch. He knows how to box. Neither can punch. He knows how to box. He knows how to tie up. He's got a good jab. Put them in the mix. That sounds like someone hard to stop to me. Do you know what I mean? At them odds, at 3-1 for it to happen, I think it's the most. Honestly, this for me, the most likely outcome for Clark and TKV is points. I wouldn't never say knockout. Planet, people are getting gassed off the Tete fight. Seriously, because he filled in Tete. I think it's a combination of the last time we saw TKV, he got stopped, even though he was winning all the rounds, and then it was a fake stoppage, in my opinion. It was a cheating sucker punch. So that's in people's minds. And Fraser Clark's last fight, he blew out Tez like a zombie, man. And he finished on his feet. Fraser Clark can't punch. Seriously, he can't punch, man. He can't punch for toffee. He can't punch. So those are the plays. I think there's some nice coups in there, to be honest. I really do. This one should hit. This one should hit bigly. Yeah, this one should really hit. Huey Fury's not going to lose to an idiot, is he? Jack Massey, I like him. He can fight. He ain't going to lose against the plumber. Yeah, let's see what happens. Anyway, folks, let me know your thoughts. I'm just trying to think, actually. Will Whittaker stop? We just don't. I think that's what I was going to mention, actually. The last thing I was going to mention is we talk about it all the time. We don't necessarily do it, but the in-game aspect is going to be valuable here. Given that the outcome for points is starting so wide, and I observed this in the Bam Rodriguez fight, slightly different but similar. The Bam Rodriguez fight started at like 5-1 to go to points, and because most people put their bets on and forget about it, so it keeps the money line pretty stable. So what we should observe here is when you've got Whittaker and Fraser Clark to go the distance, it's quite a wide and likely outcome at 3-1. If you know what you're looking at, 2-3 rounds in, yeah, Whittaker gets tired. He's very twitchy. A bit like, who is it? Who was the other guy we were talking about? These twitchy guys tend to get goosed. There's another example of it. Who is it? Oh, Anthony Yard. I see shades of it there. Very twitchy. Them guys ain't doing nothing in the back half. They just ain't. Not explosively. They're finished. So these twitchy cats, if we get 2 or 3 or 4 rounds in, and the guy is not bothered, he's losing all the rounds, but he's not bothered, you'll probably still be able to get Whittaker on points. at 2-1. That's when you jump in. That's what I'm going to do. That's when I'll start adding more risk. There's a chance that the guy wilts, but that's when I'll add some on there. Same as Clark and TKV. If it's looking like a stinker, TKV and Clark has more chance of being a stinker. They both love to clinch. They both get tired. They both like to jab and grab. What was the other factor? They both can't punch like that. It's got a good chance of being a proper stinker. And you should be able to pick up that early on in 2-3 rounds. If it's a competitive stinker, 2 or 3 rounds in, i.e. they're both jabbing and grabbing, you'll be able to get it 2 or 3 rounds in at 2-1 plus on points. Bosh, I'm jumping in there all day. I'm putting 100 large on, man. So that's the real value. That's why I've kept it quite light. I've only really got 40. It's actually 80 quid on the line, to be fair. And if any of these bums fail me, if Jack Massey lost or Huey Fury lost, we're buggered. We're down bigly, man. We're buggered. We're down bigly. We're down 70 large just off the rip. We ain't even done nothing yet. So, then again, if Fraser Clark lost, but you can't do that way of thinking. I don't think TKV going to win. I don't think so. Anyway, those are the plays, folks. Smash the like button, subscribe. Let me know your thoughts. Smash the like button, subscribe. Let off the bell, man. I'm finished. I've cooked the ending, man. It's Friday night. Yeah, it's knocking on for packet time. Bosh, Johnny.